Grizzlies fans, welcome into another Grizz Game Day update. The Grizzlies will take on the Mavs again for the second of three matchups in 10 days. Tim MacMahon back with us. Thank you for coming on.
You're not in a partner. Hotel, it is not in a hotel. I'm based in Dallas. This is my little home office here. We'll be at the arena tonight. Dylan Brooks is not going to get his wish. No Luka Doncic in this one. And a TBD on Kyrie Irving. He's questionable again, obviously missed the other night. Grizzlies still had to sweat that one out with the Mavs 2 all-star guards sitting. So, whether Kyrie plays or not, this might be an interesting one.
Yes, the Grizzlies got that one 112 to 108. The first half was and then it felt like the third quarter was like Tim Hardaway Jr. He changed his shoes. He came back out, went crazy. And the fourth quarter was David Roddy, had 17 of his 24 points in that fourth quarter. And so I guess those are the guys that I want to talk about. I want to talk about David Roddy to start off. What were you impressed with most of the last game? And can he be that for the Grizzlies? What do you see from him?
I mean, do you expect him to have a whole lot of 17-point quarters? No, but obviously it was a great sign for a rookie who, not only has just been in and out of the rotation, but has spent a lot of time with the Memphis hustle, which I think is a great thing. I really like the way the Grizzlies use their G League as part of the developmental process for these young guys. And you could see that work paying off. And, the thing I was so impressed with is he took the game over and was dominant in that fourth quarter, but wasn't forcing things, knocked down some open threes, the baskets that he got in the paint. It wasn't like he was playing
on
outside of
himself.
Yeah, on the defensive end. And, I don't think you can expect that on a regular basis from David Roddy, but for him to have that moment after a rookie season that's probably been frustrated at points and been up and down, that's a great reward for him, a great moment for him. And I do think that kind of thing, that there'll be some confidence in him that I'm sure carries over from that.
Yeah, and I won't say the reason that he stepped up, but we're thankful that he did step up, is because the two guys who the Grizzlies are relying on a lot right now, because Jaw's out, Steven is out, MBC is out with scoring, is JJ and Dez. They went 11 for 30 from the field, 2 for 10 from the 3-point line. What was it, Dallas? What was it about the Dallas defense that was just not allowing them to get good looks, or was it just an off night, do you think?
I thought Dez actually played pretty well. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I thought he did a good job distributing, which there's more of that on his plate now, obviously. With Ja out, when Tyus isn't on the floor, he basically has to play point guard. And then I just thought it was an off night offensively for Jaren. There was several times where he got in there, he got around the basket, and some of them were tough finishes, but you expect him to make a decent percentage of those. You have to give Maxi Kleber some credit. Maxi is the Mavericks' best defender. He's been out for a while, just came back recently from a torn right hamstring and surgery. If the Mavericks are going to be decent defensively, he's going to have to be really, really good. And I did think he was really, really good in that game. But again, Jaren's a guy who he's not going to have a whole lot of nights like that, even against good defense, good defense and good defenders. I just think he had an off night.
Yeah. And the Mavs, I think this is one of the teams where he can highlight what he does well, because the Mavs do sometimes go small. And JJ's a big dude, so hopefully he can try and take advantage of that tonight. On the Mavs offense, we talked about, remember I was like, who's it going to be, Tim Hardaway Jr.? And you're like, I mean, probably. So he led the way with 23, and there's 2 other guys with 20 or more points. That was Josh Green and Jaden Hardy. All 3 of them scored threes. 3 threes for the last 2 guys, and then Tim Hardaway Jr. had 4 threes. They were just raining them down.
Yeah, and again, those are the guys, there's not a lot of other options if Kyrie's out again tonight and there's no Luka. And I mentioned to you last time, first game after the Kyrie trade, Kyrie had yet to join the team. Luka was hurt at the time. And those guys all had big games, and they beat the Jazz. Now, that was a Jazz team. It was like, how many of us are getting traded? And then, the next day, the trade happens where Mike Conley and Jared Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley are all out the door. But still, Jaden Hardy is a really, really interesting kid, and he's
He
not
was
ready.
impressive.
He is impressive. He's
Mhm,
not ready. He's a 20-year-old rookie, played for the G League Ignite last year.
mhm.
He's not ready to consistently help a team that hopes to make a playoff run. Um, hopes is doing a lot of work there because the Mavericks are 500 right now. But he's talented,
Mhm,
and if he led the G League in scoring while he was down there this year. If he'd have done that the year before for the Ignite, he'd have been a high lottery pick. But
mhm.
he can shoot it. He can create. I think he's got a really bright future, maybe as a sixth man, as a Jordan Clarkson, Jordan Poole type of player. And then Josh Green had been playing great. For whatever reason, he really fell off when Kyrie and Luka were playing together. He just wasn't
Just
involved.
the looks weren't there.
He's got to figure that out. As he said after that game, he has to figure that out. It's not on the superstars, it's on him to figure out how to fit with them. But young player, athletic, improved a lot as a shooter. He's got some talent, but like they don't have enough talent to where they should be in games against a team that has aspirations to win the West.
Yeah, and that's us. I guess my last thing for you, and this is kind of something very Grizzly specific because they are on track right now to break a franchise record in home wins. Their home has been
Mm.
just like so good to them. They've lost like a handful of games at home. In the last 12 games or 12 road games, excuse me, they're 1-11. So they've won one road game. Like they have not been great. Where the Mavs at home in the last 12 are 6-6. Like, does home court matter tonight? Has it been like that for the Mavs?
Yeah, but the Mavs are they
I know
haven't
they're a
been dominant.
skeleton Mavs right now too.
Well, they're the skeleton Mavs, and like the Mavericks haven't been playing well anywhere. Like they're just not playing very well right now.
Mhm.
Obviously tonight without at least one of their stars, perhaps two. Um, frankly, even without the guys that the Grizzlies don't have, this is a game that the Grizzlies probably should win. Now, you mentioned the Grizzlies' road struggles. I think it is safe to say that perhaps there have been some distractions on the road that the franchise has worked to address. We can leave it there.
Mhm.
I think that what you're going to have tonight, though, is a focused Grizzlies team.
Mhm.
After really just a nightmare road trip for a variety of reasons, they came home, got their feet under them, got a couple of wins. Another guy who didn't play great offensively the other night, who I expect to have a good game tonight because I think he's a really good player, is Tyus Jones.
Yeah, Tyus has been
And
great.
yeah, I think that if they're following the Tyus Jones, the Desmond Baines, I think the Grizzlies have a good chance, not just tonight, but for however long this stretch is, to at least keep their heads above water.
Yes, I have consistently been shouting from rooftops that I think Tyus Jones is the best backup point guard in the NBA, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, like, no one's fighting me on that. It's a pretty
No, yeah,
pretty fair
you're
argument.
not exactly taking up a controversial cause there.
Okay, so the Grizzlies tip off at 6:30 tonight. It's a little bit earlier. This one's on Valley Sports Southeast. And then Tim is right back in Memphis on Monday. We play the Mavs yet again. So thank you, Tim. You're the best as always. Have fun at the game tonight.
It is always a pleasure. I will see you next week.
See you.